if you've got as many injuries as I have on my team, you're going to need to watch this. It's game week 3, team selection. Let's go. Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and I'm delighted that Baker's joined me again. How you doing, mate?
I'm in foreign climate, not really foreign, Devon. But I am pleased to be chatting. Like I'm away for the week with the family. The cottage we're in has literally, well, it says it has Wi-Fi, but it isn't real Wi-Fi. Like you can do nothing. Um, but we've managed to hire a room in a library. It's like some kind of massive meeting room. Looked really weird going into a library this morning and be like, "Oh yes, I've got the meeting room," and she's like, "Look around, where are the other people?" No, it's just me. It's just me. Um, Come up here, yeah, set ourselves up. So yeah, I'm really happy to chat. I've very much realised that I am a person that needs internet in his life. I'm not ready to let go and be one with nature and all of that stuff and enjoy life. I like the drama. I like the internet. I like to be able to look up things. I like to get as much information in as I can, and it's bloody hard when you're like trying to sneak it in whilst also doing family stuff. Um, so yeah, we're back. How was your week?
It was good. Yeah, it was good in the end. I mean, obviously, you get the little dagger of Salah in the last minute, and it's just like you get so close, man. But at the same time, I had all sorts of issues happen. So obviously, I already had the Frimpong injury, and then I had Saka get injured, and then I had obviously Palmer didn't play, and the Palmer not playing thing was actually annoying because it meant that
Huge.
so much jam came out from absolutely everywhere, and like the router stuff as well, the rutter stuff. Like, yeah, there was so much jam around. It was untrue, and I was having a decent week, and it could have like this week, game week 2, could have been one of those weeks where everyone got like 50 points and I got 80. Like it could have been
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
weeks, and everyone kind of got 50 points and I got 55. So I just feel like it's just so close to being great, but yeah. And now my game week 3 looks like fucking trash, mate. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, that is the thing in it. Even if you did get lucky with some maybe auto subs or this or that, it's like, oh, now I've got to face into that to an extent. And I do think we're like 2 weeks in, we're really, really itchy. I mean, I'm so itchy to do this, do that, do this, do that. You're worried, like if you're anywhere between like me at like 4 million up to people that are 7, 8, 9 million that are very good people at this game, very much know what they're doing. You do start to panic after 2 weeks because you're also thinking, I can't have another bad week.
Yeah.
I can't have another bad week, and then I can't have another bad week. I can't have. You probably can. We probably can. We probably can have some few weeks, but you also just need. You just so much need some luck to swing your way. That and football. It's football as far as sports go. Is a low scoring sport. Yeah, which increases huge amounts of variance. And within a 2 week sample, it's just going like one goal here, one goal there. It just makes massive differences. It's big. It's big. It's big. You had obviously Saka cap last week, and if he plays the full game, you're like, surely
Well, he might get the pen as well. Like he might just take the pen at the end. There's that
he
as
might
well
just
to
take the pen.
consider. Because everyone's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Everyone's just gone like, oh, Gyökeres is on pens now. Well, we don't know that. Like this is
No.
not information that we know. We know that he takes pens if Saka's injured. Cool.
Yeah.
That we kind of half knew that anyway, right? I think we did.
you know, and even like we're early in chip season, and just the small things that make just huge differences. So if you were on bench boost, but you had two guys out,
Half.
done in, but you might have not been playing, for example, Dubravka and Old E Steve, but you probably then got them. So you probably then still got like 10 points. You probably still got like 10 points extra than most people. You're like, well, that's probably all right. It's probably all right. Our friend, our good personal friend, John, cap bench boost this week. That's not what made him succeed. He captained Palmer, but he had his vice on João Pedro. So in a week when no one else could, he gets 30 points from João Pedro.
Yeah. Mental.
Like you can't like that's such a big swing compared to us that you're like, well, you're going to be behind that guy, and then that's not the only guy because João Pedro is 50% owned. Like people will have had that. Imagine how many Chelsea fans probably had that. Um, and yeah, and if you captain Gyökeres and you're on free hit, like last minute, boom, swing, it's huge. But I'm just trying to tell myself like let's not judge how good or bad we are at this game or how this whole season's going to go over some few last minutes. You know, in game week 1, you got done 59th minute Frimpong, 94th minute Salah. Like it's
Yep.
small margins.
Yep.
Bastard
This
game.
week,
Why do we play it?
fun. Like the game is fun.
Not only do we play it, but I'm set up in a library here doing a podcast on it whilst I'm supposed to be away on a family holiday. Like, what are we doing? Um,
Right.
well, let's have a look at the fixtures, shall we?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the fixtures. So the game, this game, I know it says game week 2. That's an absolute lie. It's definitely game week 3. That's just bad editing. But what we look at for RobT's data is these come from Pinnacle, and they're essentially the market odds for game week 3. Primarily, what we're looking for is an average projected goals or an expected, projected goals of more than 2. And those are coming from Chelsea at home to Fulham and Man U at home to Burnley. Almost Tottenham at home to Bournemouth. Just notice that at 1.96. And then City away at Brighton at 1.85. And then any team with a 40% chance of a clean. So here we've got Man United at 48%, Forest at 41, and then Chelsea at 39. And then it all kind of drops down after that. The first thing that I thought of here was that we haven't got anything anywhere near 2.5 goals, and I wonder whether that's obviously there is a result of Liverpool playing Arsenal this week. That is happening. City are playing away at a reasonable team. That is happening. But also, I think the number of goals that we're expecting to see is reducing based on also what we've seen so far this season, because there hasn't been. I would say, like, yes, we saw obviously a 5-1 and a 5-0 at the weekend. So I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I think generally speaking, we're seeing sort of lower volumes of goals from game to game. That's weird, actually, though, because then we saw 5 goals on Monday as well. It's nuts.
Yeah, but we are seeing, I think, just in general, early on, um, you know,
we're seeing some sticky 1-0s and 2-0s and stuff like that.
Yeah, over the last few seasons, we've had lots of teams that the desire's always been, I'm going to control the game, haven't you? Man City have done a lot of control in their work. Liverpool, under Klopp, certainly started to move towards the end away from that heavy metal into a more controlled fashion. Arsenal have been all over it. Is Tottenham were trying to really dominate the ball when they first started under Ange and have those things. Chelsea have had those things. Newcastle, like all teams where you would see they would be quite dominant possession wise. I think that's changed a lot now. Is there's a lot of teams where it's almost like virtually every team now is doing long throws. Like not just one team, like everybody's doing it. So set pieces become a huge thing, which set pieces in general just really slow games down. Like they make games very bitty. Like if everyone's doing lots of them, people are doing routines. Suddenly it's a minute, 2 minutes a thing. Like in general, counters are happening all the time, which means you'll have. I think there was a period in that Liverpool Newcastle game where there was over 20 minutes without a shot. Over 20 minutes,
which is mental given the activity in that game. Like how
in that second half
that game was.
There was like but it's counter, but no sustained pressure, so no actual shooting. It's like we're trying to work it up, work it back, work it forward, and just all of that at the moment's making it some of the stuff like quite a hard read. Like will be. I think probably Arsenal are probably they're not the most free-flowing attacking team, but they're the one team that almost still look like they want to control possession all the time. They want to have a lot of the ball. Even if you look at Man City, with movers like Cherky, Reinders, those kind of guys, they're a bit more transitioning than they used to be. And part of that is because they were getting countered so well. Like all the time is where they were trying to dominate the ball in the final third is they were always open to get slammed the other way. I think it's making these bookies sometimes a little harder to go, yeah, this is going to be 3-0 when you're going to see this low block and everyone's just going to sit in. Maybe that's maybe that's part of what we're seeing in the season. I don't expect it's going to change because I think stylistically we kind of know what we're going to get. Like we already know from Tottenham, like we're never going to be a 60% possession team week in, week out. Like Tottenham Bournemouth's really interesting in the fact of two teams that want to counter the crap out of each other. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a real hard read. A lot of these games this week. Let's carry out the start in terms of what we got injuries wise. So I've only got Palmer. That's my only injury to deal with
Yeah,
for this week. But you've now got Frimpong,
Palmer,
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 and Saka.
Saka as well. Yeah, all three.
And
And then
Frimpong's definitely
yeah,
out, isn't he?
yes, Saka's
Saka
almost certainly out,
sounds that way.
but I think Palmer might
Palmer,
have a chance.
there's a chance. So there was a rumor going around like forums, I think, and stuff like that it was like a month, which you always have to be quite mindful of because we've got a 2 week break about to happen. That is that actually last week plus this week plus the 2 week break, and he's back in game week 4. The fact that he was doing some training, there was something saying that he was training but training alone. You were like, well, that sounds like game week 4 he should be back for. So let's just say immediately, which ones are those for you if you're selling? Which ones are your straight? I'm going to sell those guys.
The issue this week is that it's all a bit stinky, right? Like it just feels
That's
like,
my problem.
and not even the last 2 weeks haven't really given me any steers as to like who are the outstanding players to go for, particularly in the premium piece, right? Because it's like, because loads of people are sitting on Palmer or Saka and going, oh, you know what? Well, most people it's just Palmer, but if you're sitting on Palmer, you go, oh, you know what? Palmer's injured. Guess what I'll do? I'll go Palmer to Bruno. Well, guess what? I've already got
Yep.
Bruno. So, well, cool. So, what do I do? Do I try and find a way to Salah? Well, cool. Salah's got
Yep.
Salah's got Arsenal. Well, that seems stupid to do it this week. Not stupid, but it's like, is it the move? Is it the week that I want to break up my entire team and change the structure for Salah in a week where he's got his probably second toughest game of the season?
Mm.
Like, I just don't find that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
And I just don't love any of that. I just don't love a load of the options. That's the problem. Like, the options here are coming from, because even if like Gordon could have been an option, fucking idiot. Cheers for that. Cheers for that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely it did. Definitely was an
But
option.
if you look at the targeting, like the current week, like my options seem to be like, oh, I'll get Callum Hudson-Odoi maybe. I've already got a Villa attacker. Who do I have from City? Like, I can't rely on a Foden or a Cherky or like a Reinders. Like, maybe that might be the one, because I've
Yeah,
also got like
maybe.
I've also got a miss. I say misfiring. It's 2 games, but misfiring Verts and Tielemans. Like, my whole midfield is fucked apart from Bruno Fernandes, who can't score a penalty. Like, it's so
Yeah, it is. But looking at this, so if we just look at this for the first part on yours, there's an argument that Bruno Fernandes or a Man United attacker is the best captain this week. Fair argument.
fair argument.
And you've got what would be classed as the premium guy and Bruno Fernandes. So you've got the best captain option, some would say.
Some would say
You've also got 2 free transfers with two £10 million midfielders. So you can get basically anyone you
anyone,
like as well.
and the most expensive defender, so I can do whatever I want. I mean, I could even
Yeah.
so I could even do something like take Palmer down to Reinders, let's say, call it that, 5.5, or 5.6 or whatever. Give myself about 5 million and take Guiu up to
Because you've got £500,000 in the bank
anyone.
as well still.
500,000 in the bank, but I could take Guiu up to absolutely anybody, but a
Yeah.
bar Haaland.
And then I think, and I haven't seen many people talk about, I haven't actually seen anyone talk about anything because I've had no internet to check this. So maybe I'm completely wrong and everyone's talked about this. But are people talking about João Pedro captain? Because I'm really interested in João Pedro captain. If Palmer's out, like, and they've got an expected 2 goals and he's on penalties and he looks,
And he's probably sitting in the 10 behind a lap, just like he did last week. I mean, I really did undersell his performance last week. It was very, very good. The way he linked up stuff and, finding himself in the box, that predatory trait that you want from him as well, like at set pieces, that all is good stuff. That all
like,
is good stuff.
I'm not sure that either Cunha or Bruno are better than João Pedro as a captain this week. I'm not sure they are. Like that. I'm wrestling in my brain that I think we all want to just lean that way. But there is the fact that you've got those two. So you've got those two. So you've got what probably is two of the maybe top three captains if you put Cunha in there. You have got some Forest defence.
Yeah.
You have
One.
got Pedro Porro.
I do.
Looks a good fixture, very good fixture for him. These are all guys you'd probably put on free hit. I still really like Villa this week. Like, I know the bookies don't like them that much, but we did see Palace massively drop off, like in that second half against Forest in the week. And now they've got another game on a Thursday, and then they go again. And I'm like, Villa are desperate for a performance. I don't see this as a week you sell Villa guys. And I do see this as a week that if you were, say, for example, you do free hit and you're like, well, I'm not going to put Watkins in. I'm like, he could. It could do you. And then you're like, God, I've gone off this, and now he's good. Like Watkins, I think I've got my advice on him at the moment in that I wouldn't be without. I wouldn't massively. And I'm like, well, actually, you don't need everybody to hit this week. I don't know. I'd like to try and maybe talk you off of maybe free hit ledge maybe a little and think you've actually got some really good guys, because this is the danger of free hit now. Whenever we play it in this first half of the season, is that because it's single game week versus single game week, you can get hurt.
Yes.
But I'm agreeing with you very much in Palmer and Saka. Who the bloody hell do you move to?
It just stinks. Like, all of it just stinks. I'm looking at, like, because if you make a transfer, like if I wanted to punt, like I could punt on, say, like a Pedro Neto, like that would be fun. Like that's kind of cool fun.
Is in my mind.
Yeah.
So there is a world. So I think if I'm looking this week at my Palmer move, because I will make a move with Palmer, I will sell him this week. I'm going to wait all the way to Saturday just in case it might turn out he's okay. And it's first game, isn't it? First game.
We probably won't get any leaks if
you'll get something on Palmer. It's too big. Like ever further, you'll get something. You'll know if it's going to be there. Even if you just see him get off the coach, something like we'll know if he's around or not.
Yeah, but they're at home. They drive in themselves.
We'll know. We will know, mate. If there's just no way that doesn't. He'll be
at the stadium. He'll be at the stadium regardless. He's not going to be sitting at home, right? He'll be there. So I don't think him turning up is going to be a decision. Someone's going to actually have to know and have that team sheet in hand before deadline.
I reckon we're going to get information on that one.
I don't know.
I just think there's a good chance. There's a better chance than any other time that you would get it.
I would agree with that.
But if I look at the teams and I say good week and good fixtures, if you go to you got RobT, the attacks.
Which one do you want? Goals, cleans, goals?
Goals.
I do.
So after this week, Sarr looks fantastic, and Sarr has an incredible record at Villa. So against Villa, it's difficult. I know people are saying, "Oh, he exploits the high lines and stuff." Well, we have to find a reason why someone is going to be good because they've been good before. You know what I mean? Against a team, whether they're at Watford, and some of it's Watford and Palace and all that stuff. You're like, fine. I just think he's a good pick. Like regardless, he's good. I think I like Semenyo a lot. I know people are obviously looking at Cliver with him coming back and on the pens, but I just think Semenyo is just a really good player, and I think I would just stay with the minutes monster. And obviously I know you don't really want him for Spurs this week, but
it's not happening for me. But yeah,
I think he's just a good pick. Full stop. But these are quite lowish in the goals in terms of what we're looking at. Forest, I think, is very, very difficult. Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, all those guys. I just think they've bought a lot of attack, and just I don't think I would want to get out. And Ndoye I like as well, but hard. Alanga I wouldn't go near. Just if their whole midfielders are out, plus Gordon, I just think you leave them well alone. Villa, Rodgers in a sell, is he? Look at these fixtures for the next 5-6 weeks. He's still playing 90. As much as they're bad, I think you have to just hold him. If you're going to sell him, you sell him next week, not this week. But do you buy Rodgers?
I don't think you buy Rodgers, and I don't think you have more than one Villa attacker in a free hit. Like I just don't.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
there's absolutely no chance.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Tottenham, if you can squint, I think you have to
The
go on
fixtures are
Kudus.
great. The fixtures are great though.
Yeah, so why not Kudus?
Kudus is difficult because we saw at West Ham that he was definitely like a support goal threat for whoever was up front. Because I say whoever was up front because who was it? It was a bit of Fulkrug and a bit of who was up front for West Ham last year? Basically Bowen and then
half
Ings.
again. They played him a lot, way too much on the left though, and I just think you can't.
But then naturally he was coming in and he was operating in a more central space, whereas he's not operating in a central space for Spurs. Like his remit is to be wide. Like it's literally his remit.
I'm above average.
His goal numbers or goal threat, XG, whatever you want to call it, goal share is going to be pretty low, but his chance creation is going to be super high.
Yep.
And then makes me wonder whether after Frank saying Richarlison's my number 9, maybe like Richie's a fun punt for a few weeks on a, if you've got say a Guiu type midfield striker, then don't hate it.
I actually the fact that he actually just said he's my number 9 right now, like type stuff. Of course, it could go wrong, but we're not hugely far away from wildcard territories, I think Richie's there to punt on. I really do think he's there to punt on.
I think he's all right, at least until like Champions League starts. And then when Champions League starts, minutes start to get a bit more stretched. And it depends on the draw again. When is the draw?
Yeah, but maybe you just do Dom midweek and Richie on weekends. And we just don't know how that's going to play out. But we've seen with some other ones where we've gone, well, I'm not going to go with that. Because I know it's going to play out like we're trying to 4D chess it, where others have just gone there and got points. That's happened with other people like already this season where we're avoiding it because we think, oh yeah, but this is coming. Sometimes it's just dive in. I think if we like the player, Kudus is a very important player for Tottenham. I'd have no issue with anyone going there. Pedro Neto, genuinely, I think is an option. He's taking corners from one side. They've got no bad fixtures in the next 6 games. You could play him every week. You would play him every week. He played 90 minutes again. He's their best winger comfortably.
And they'll play him left or right? They'll play him left or they can play him left or right.
He's their best left winger. He's their best right winger. He can play up top too, like he did. I feel like there's a good partnership with him and João Pedro. Pedro to Pedro. Oh, that'd feel nice when you get the old Pedro. Assistant goal.
They wouldn't do it though, would they? Bastards.
No, they wouldn't.
They do Neto Pedro. Yeah.
Pedro and Neto. They just ruin all of it.
You'd want goal Pedro assist Neto, wouldn't you? So you'd want it to read Pedro Neto. That's what you'd want. That's the dream.
But even then they wouldn't. They'd put the J in front of it just to
because
despite the fact there's no other Pedro, like surname Pedro there, they still put the J in front just to get us. But yeah, I think he is. I think and then obviously you go to Man United and you've already got Bruno. Could you go Cunha as well?
I don't think after it. I just think, free hit, yes, but I think free hit, there's a possibility. Sorry. Free hit, I think you probably want to do double United attack just because the fixture now is 100%. Great. But I don't think wanting a second until Šeško comes into this team, I wouldn't trust it. And I know Cunha is. If Šeško comes in like this weekend against Burnley, right? If you're going to give a new signing who's getting up to speed and fitness, the perfect game for him to start.
Yeah.
Why not give him the promoted team at home? Like comes in, scores 2 goals, claps him off at 65 minutes. Shit, where the hell does everybody else play? Like, is Cunha off the left, Bumo off the right, and like who operates where? It's a really sticky one for that. But perhaps
they have got Grimsby tonight in the Carabao.
Oh, so we will see that. That's true. Yeah.
So he's likely to start that, isn't he? The only thing is, if say for example he starts, we saw that quite often with Wolves, where Strand Larsen would start as the number 9, and at the end of the game he'd go off and Cunha would go up top, and having done very little all game, he then scores in the last minute, and because he's been deeper, he's actually got quite a good baseline, and then he just gets the goal and walks away with everything.
We saw exactly the same with Bumo, not last season but the season before with Tony. exactly the same.
Yeah.
So you've got both of them that could potentially move up into that space.
Yeah. So you can argue both ways, but I just think there is an argument that if you were wild card in this week and you were going with one, like there is an argument that people would go Cunha over Bruno Fernandes. So I think when people have already got Bruno, they're like, well, I don't want the double up, but maybe you don't need the double up. Because maybe actually you use this as a way to hokey. So maybe what you do is, for example, let's say you want Palmer back next week and it turns out he's fine, is that you go Palmer to Cunha and then use Bruno to go back to Palmer next week.
Yeah.
That's a doable. I guess for you, the other thing to work through is because you haven't got Mo, is do you just free hit next week and therefore you haven't got to think about that and go the other guys? Because if you free hit this week, you've then got to try and orchestrate with only 2 moves. How do you do? And you might want 3 moves almost to an extent.
My biggest issue here is that over the next 6 weeks, there's 24 projected goals coming from City and Liverpool, and I have Florian Wirtz. That's
yeah, I mean,
that's literally my issue.
Florian Wirtz is absolutely useless in terms of FPL, but
I'm gonna hang my hat on that Havertz comparison until it's not true. So we'll just go there.
And we bloody hope it's not true because we can't afford to mess around with him at the moment.
There's no fucking Well, like you sell him, like where are all the fucking midfielders? Like that's the question we should be asking in FPL. Like where are all the midfielders?
I really like Saul and Semenyo next week. I'm literally like, my note down is in game week 4, I want to have a route to get Saul and Semenyo, both if possible. But my wild card is Pedro Neto on the side. I've not helped you at all. Welcome back.
No. It's like this week might be a difficult week, and then why not just get why not just get Eze next week? Like I think Eze would just with Saka out. Odegaard is not as bad as it was feared, I think, but shoulders are a bit awkward because they actually have to recover before you can really do anything because any kind of contact and you're fucked. So I'd imagine Eze starts game week 4.
You'd assume
I don't know whether he would start this week. Not that he's not capable of playing against Liverpool. Like I guess he probably would actually because they need the player in there. They just need the player in there.
Everything, clearly he really wanted to be there, and he clearly you can see almost looking at the stuff, is that he feels very at home there very, very quickly. So I just think he will be playing very, very quickly. Like he's up to speed. Conscious of time, because we've only got this room booked for a short period of time. Should we
get
have
on to teams?
Look? Yeah.
So let's just talk about my team because we were talking about what I have. So I've placed for now, so I will read my bench first. So I've got Dubravka on the bench. My bench at the moment is Palmer, Frimpong and Saka. Looks like the world's best bench wankery, but actually they're all fucking injured. So in my team, so this is what I've got to navigate around. Sanchez in goal, home to Fulham, perfect. Murillo, Anderson, don't love it. Porro and Steve, don't love that either. And then Tielemans, don't love that. Bruno, captain, love that. Wirtz, don't love that. Guiu, he scored last night, so that's a bonus. Watkins, okay. And then João Pedro, absolutely fine. I've got 2 transfers, 500,000 in the bank. Obviously, I'm losing value here and there and gaining value here and there. So I could just rip this up, right? I could just literally take Frimpong, Palmer, Saka and Guiu and just convert them to Haaland, whatever. And I could get Erling in for Brighton. I would take an 8-point hit, which sounds fucking ludicrous.
You'd need a -8 to get Haaland, wouldn't you? Because you've got obviously bring a striker in as well. Yeah.
Yes, it sounds fucking ludicrous, but I could do it. But I could even do it if I did Palmer and Saka to say Anderson and Reinders, for example, and then I just have 3 double City, double Forest, and it solves a bunch of problems. There's all sorts of short-term things here. There's also I could free hit. So I could free hit and then come back. Palmer's fine, Saka's fine. Frimpong still needs fixing, but that's not a problem because the game week 4 fixtures for my defenders are a lot better. So, I'll have, I say they're a lot better. I'll make a transfer there, but I'll have Anderson at home to Leeds, Porro away at West Ham. Unfortunately, Steve will be playing Burnley. And Murillo will be playing Arsenal, which isn't ideal, but the rest is fine. And I could probably find my way to a Chelsea defender I
But
mean, I could even
realistically,
just like
you
Frimpong to
may have
Cucurella or
Frimpong
something.
back by game week 4.
Oh, maybe.
If you if you can find if you can find two moves that do Saka and Palmer out, and then I would be quite tempted to do like say Cunha and somebody cheap enough that enables you to go say Bruno to Salah next week. If there's a way of getting there, so it could be like for example Palmer and Saka to Reinders and Cunha, going to give you 6-7 million. That gives you the option of one of your Man City guys back to Salah next week, and suddenly you're like, well, actually, the rest of the team looks fine. I'm in a good position. I'm actually not behind the game at all, in effect, and I haven't taken a hit. And team looks good this week. There's not many people that there's very few people that will have Bruno, Cunha, João Pedro this week. Very few that have all three of them, and
Yeah.
a couple of Villa attackers too. Like if there's a week where it's like good that you haven't got Salah, it should be this week. Touch wood for you. Touch wood for all of us because we're not capping him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Let's look at
it
your team.
feels weird when you don't have Salah free hitting in a week when you don't need Salah. It's like if I haven't got
I know
Salah,
what you mean.
do you know what I mean? I would be tempted to almost leave myself enough money. That means you could either go to Haaland or Salah based on how this week goes.
Or I could do Palmer and Saka out and get Haaland this week and take the Brighton fixture, and then gives me another option for captaincy.
I don't know if
no,
Brighton
minus, it's not. It's only a -4 because I could leave Frimpong.
But then you're like, am I then also going to have two midfielders that I might not necessarily want longer term, or I'm just doing it for this week? I just have a look.
Yeah, true.
Make sure they're guys that you want.
True. Cool. Right.
You can't take Palmer and Saka out and not have good guys to come in for him.
The players that probably would come in for him are Reinders and Anderson, and people have been literally jerking off over those guys for about 6 weeks. So
I don't know if
they're
I've
either good guys
before,
or bad guys.
I bloody hate DEFCON. I can't hate it anymore. Like the way that it makes us feel about players just makes me want to vomit.
Your team?
I'll be playing Sales, playing Porro, playing Murillo. I'm going to play Rodon home to Newcastle. I think DEFCON is there. The midfield's out. We've got probably Osula up top. I just feel like him home versus two hedges. You'll be proud of me because my other two are hedges. Anderson away at Chelsea or Richards away at Villa. I'm like, hedging over take the Rodon punt. I'm going to take the Rodon punt. Thanks very much.
I also think, I think me and Pricey spoke about it on Sunday and saying that Rodon is almost the perfect pick that allows you not to have to think about making a transfer. It just kind of slots in there so that you can feel better about it. You can feel better about taking another transfer onto another week.
Yeah. So I'm going to play
at least
Rodon
not taking a hit.
Currently got Rodgers, Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders, Salah, and I've currently got João Pedro captain, Watkins vice. Palmer will be the guy that goes. I genuinely haven't worked it out between Cunha and Bruno or Pedro Neto is probably where I'm sitting if I look for one for this week. And I'm trying to work out in my brain whether, because I'm just a bit anti the old DEFCON, whether that's really putting me off Bruno. It's like almost I don't want to, I want to fight it type position. But ultimately, there's also the thing that I just think he's been absolutely terrible in his role. I just think this central midfield role is absolutely stupid for Bruno. I don't understand it. But I also think that there's just so many ways he can get points. And if you told me next week, would I rather have it? And the week after and week after, I'm like, well, he might get me DEFCON if he doesn't get anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can roll him out every game, but I am like, do I want this to be my captain? Do I want a guy that's captain that I think, well, he's probably going to get at least 5, 6, 7 points because he'll get something from one of these things. And I'm like, oh.
I remember you saying, when he didn't get DEFCON in the first week, you said that, you need more from him for 9 million quid. You need more.
Captain.
And to captain, you need him to peak. I think João Pedro might actually be a better captain choice. The more I think about it,
it's just the lack of 3 points. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean 3 points in the currency. I mean with an F. Is the do I think Bruno's going to get a clean this week? Yes. Do I think he is probably going to get an assist? Yes. Well, that's a goal already against João Pedro. If he does get an assist, do I think he'll be in the bonus? Yes. And therefore, suddenly I'm like, but what if he scores? Then suddenly, poof, it's so as much as it is that I think he still has a ceiling. He'll always have a ceiling. Is strikers like that? I don't know. Fulham are pretty stodgy. Like João Pedro suddenly got a brace almost to try and catch it. I've just been really anti-captaining strikers for a long time now, and I've got to try and get my head into it whether I can do it. Would I captain Cunha, who's on no set plays, not on penalties, don't exactly know where he plays, over João Pedro again is one that again I'm questioning in my head.
I wouldn't get involved with Cunha. I wouldn't get involved with Cunha. I mean, the risk as well in Bruno is that actually Bumo was taking some indirect free kicks off him at the weekend as well, which means that he's having, obviously Bumo's obviously got that right hand side corners as well.
Imagine
so
Bumo
there are
suddenly
less.
takes a penalty. Like Bumo's just a forgotten man. We're just like we don't talk about him anymore. But it's like maybe he's the guy.
Maybe he's the guy.
I'm just not convinced right now. So I am fence sitting to an extent that I'm still between probably three guys for my transfer in right now. And I'd like to leave it all the way to Saturday, get as much information, as much press as possible. Just ignore price rises.
Fair enough. Again, saying conscious of time, let's move on to what is a possible free hit team. It doesn't really look too different. There are some differences. So I'll be reading it out for everybody. So I've got Sells in goal here, Pedro Porro, Murillo, Cucurella, and De Ligt. It's 4-3-3 this, which I think is really cool. Cunha and Bruno as captain, Kudus, Haaland, Watkins, João Pedro up top, Trash on the bench, doesn't really matter. But you've got Dewsbury Hall in there because they're playing Wolves. The other two guys doesn't really matter. I think having double Forest defence in a free hit is just automatic. I think maybe if you swapped out, say, I mean, this one still for me has 0.6 in the bank. So if you stopped out a Kudus and then worked out how to get Pedro Neto, how much is Neto?
I think the only thing I would probably look at is there a way I lose? It's difficult because I want the money in it. I think this is the right way to do it. It's an extra, you're looking at an extra 500,000, something like that. Then like, I've got to change Paro, I've got to do something else with those guys. I think I'd stay with this.
Yeah, it's only 500,000, so you could just do Kudus to Neto and just leave it in this.
Oh, you have got 500,000. So you have just about.
Yeah, so it's 0.6, so you could do Kudus to Neto and leave it.
We have to have bias and have double Spurs, mate. It's a free hit.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a free hit. The point with Pedro Neto, not necessarily a free hit guy, but just a good guy for the next 5-6 weeks is the thing for him. If I was chasing a fixture this week, I like Kudus. I actually think if you could, which I think you can just about get to, I would have gone Brennan Johnson on that free hit. I'd have chased the brace, and I'd have gone Brennan Johnson over Kudus on that one because I think it's just the one. So if you were looking at free hit, that'd be the only change I think I'd make in that team with Brennan Johnson over Kudus.
Yeah, you don't need to get everyone to hit, but I suppose if Brennan gets one compared to Kudus' 2 assists,
it's just a non-owned. I know obviously he has got some owned because he's gone up in price by 0.1, whatever it is, and stuff like that. But it's like engaged managers, nobody's got Brennan Johnson. Like it's a straight up, if he braces, it's all yours.
Yeah. I think that's it, mate. I think that's it. I think we're good.
Good.
Cool. Well, before we go, what we do have to say is we do have to say thank you to our sponsor, Crypto Block Dan. So Dan Hybel, if you do need some advice on the blockchain space, then head over to hubble.social/Dan Hybel. He is an NFT collector, an early adopter in the space. He works with Web3 and crypto gaming companies. He owns his own game. He's well versed in the blockchain. So if you need advice, if you maybe need an angel investor, if you want just to have a chat with him, you can hop over to hubble.social/Dan Hybel and you can grab from 15 minutes of his time over on there. And obviously we can't leave without saying thank you very much to all of our patrons. Patreon.com/above average FPL. We're missing a lovely tactics video from Baker this weekend. Blame the Wi-Fi down in Devon. It is what it is, but there will be more. Games are going on. Sunglasses were sent out today. Posty was extremely unhappy about that I had to send out 18 packages, but and I gave away like 98 coasters yesterday or something.
Go away
so
for
coasters,
a week and you've chucked out 100 coasters on the first day of having them. Perfect.
Yeah. well, challenge accepted to get rid of as many as possible. So there we go. All the games as well are going on. And the final thing is obviously to everybody else, the wonderful people, just make sure you just like and subscribe and comment. Let us know what you're doing. Are you going to free hit? What transfers are you going to make? Should we tweak the free hit? Give us advice on our team. Let us know what we should be doing as well. Always love to read them. Always love to see and reply to them. And I look forward to you being back in your house, Baker.
Yes, can't wait to be back on the weekend.
Cool, mate. I'll catch you later.
See you later.
We do